Hello and welcome back to another video on the Wrestling's Bait and to my NXT Takeover stand and deliver predictions. Another NXT Takeover is upon us, and this time it's too big for one night, and we've got some quality matches coming up, so I can kind of see why, to be honest. And let's kick things straight off with Kushida versus Pete Dunne in a match that I'm really looking forward to. This should be a really great match between two excellent wrestlers, and to be honest I would probably say it's one of the harder ones to call. I think Kushida, he's not had the greatest run so far, let's be honest. He blows hot and cold. To be honest, this is kind of one of his cold periods. Pete Dunne, he had a really good run and seems to have dipped off a bit recently, so this is just a chance for both wrestlers to gain momentum, and I think Pete Dunne will get the win here. I think he's a younger star who WWE see more in, so I'm going to go for him. For the vacant NXT Tag Team titles, it's MSK versus Grizzled Young Veterans versus Legado del Fantasma. Really interesting one, this. I can't see Legado del Fantasma winning, so I'll rule those out. I think they're there to take the pins. And then between MSK and GYV, it's really hard to choose. MSK, they seem to have dipped a little bit, which makes me think Grizzled Young Veterans, who have been consistent for a while, will get the win here and become new title holders, but it could go otherwise, but I'm going to say Grizzled Young Veterans. Next up, it's the Gauntlet Match to decide who challenges Gargano between Ruff, Swerve Scott, Bronson Reed, Grimes, Loomis and Knight. This is quite a hard one to call. I can't see it being LA Knight with the run he's had so far. I can't see it being Ruff, Swerve Scott, Grimes or Loomis maybe. For me it's probably between Loomis and Bronson Reed. But I'm going to go for Bronson Reed. He seems to be getting a bit of a push recently, getting a win over LA Knight on his debut, so I think he'll get the win here. Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa is up next in a match that I can't wait for. Yeah, this is going to be incredible. But the way I'm thinking here is that Tommaso Ciampa doesn't really need the win. Whereas Walter, you know, he's not quite as established with the American audience. So I think he will get the rub here and we'll really get to see some of Walter's style. And I think he'll drop his title soon in NXT UK. So he can kind of progress to the main NXT and further his career. So I'm going to say Walter retains, but he'll lose it soon. Next up for the women's title, main event of night one, it is Eosuri versus Raquel Gonzalez. This is a really interesting one. Shirai, her title reign's been okay. I do feel like maybe it could have been slightly better. But you know, it's been fine. But Raquel Gonzalez has just been pushed like a monster recently. And to be honest, I'm surprised she hasn't won the title yet. But I definitely think the time is coming now where she finally becomes the women's champion. And I think she'll do it in the main event. I'm going to say Raquel for a win. And then moving on to night two, Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart take on The Way. Ember and Shotzi, of course, winning the titles in their first night against The Way. The Way haven't really done a lot recently. And for me, after hot-shotting the belt on its first night, WWE kind of have to keep the title on Ember and Shotzi for a bit, just to make sure the title has any prestige, even in its first few weeks. So therefore, I just can't see any other result than a babyface win. I'm going to say Ember and Shotzi. Adam Cole and Karl O'Reilly take each other on in an unsanctioned match, and yeah, I really can't wait for this. This is going to be incredible. Yeah, this is a really hard one to call. Karl O'Reilly's definitely been getting a huge push as of late, which makes me think he could get the win, but I kind of worked out in my head how it goes. I think Adam Cole will get the win here and leave O'Reilly so battered that maybe he'll be out for a couple of weeks, and then he'll come back and maybe they'll have a match at the next takeover, a blow-off or something, which makes me think the heel will get the win here. I'll say Adam Cole. And then moving on to Johnny Gargano versus the mystery opponent, who of course I said earlier in the video I thought would be Bronson Reed, so let's just presume it's Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed. This is an interesting one. For me, Gargano hasn't really done a lot with the title recently, so I think Bronson will get the win here, and he's just looked so good recently, so I'm going to say Bronson Reed will win the title, which is a bold prediction when we don't even know if he's in the match or not, but there we go. Then moving on to the Cruiserweight Championship match between the interim Cruiserweight Champion Santos Escobar and the actual Cruiserweight Champion Jordan Devlin. For me, this is quite easy to call. Santos has obviously had a really good reign now. Really long one too. And Devlin, you know, he's kind of gone a bit under the carpet recently, and of course he had that whole thing with speaking out or not, which makes me think WWE will want to take the title off him, which is why I can see Santos Escobar becoming the Ultimate Cruiserweight Champion. And then finally in our main event, it's Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross. Now the build-up to this, it's been okay I suppose, but I feel like it could have been slightly better. But you know, I'm still really hyped to see this match. This should be quality. So yeah, I think Karrion will get the win. But yeah, they have left out in my mind, kind of, which I suppose is what they wanted to see. I think Karrion will get the win. And yeah, but this should be an incredible match. But anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching, and like, share, subscribe, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and follow me on Twitter, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, and subscribe to my channel on the screen right now. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.